very good day to you. You're welcome to today's episode of your darling program, Youth Can, on independent television, ITV. I am your host, Joy Igoche. Youth Can is that very wonderful program put together by ITV to reach out to youths with creative and entrepreneurship ideas that are geared towards the development of the society. And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about something very, very important, because this is something that has shaped the lives of our youths in society today. We are looking at the issue of the incessant Asuu strike and the impact on Nigerian youths. Yes, because in Nigeria today, we see that students across various institutions are being faced with industrial actions, either from the academic staff or the non-academic staff and the government. The battle is here all the time, and students are being asked to go home, strike upon strike, and it really affects the Nigerian students today. So the big question is, what impact has this led to in the lives of Nigerian students? So what happens during the striking period when students are asked to go home? Do they go home to sit idle, or is there something they are doing with that time to bring about development and growth in their lives? We'll be going on a short break here where we'll ask some students what have they been doing throughout the strike, how the strike has impacted their life. And when we return, we'll have a special guest with us in the studio to do justice to this topic. Stay tuned, don't go nowhere.
Well, I'm going to spend my 4-week strike before the end of night. We don't know. I'll be looking for a job actually, even if it's cleaner or any work that is paying, because I cannot just sit at home. I want to fund myself for next semester, because the money I fund for now, I don't think it will be enough. I don't think it will still be here till when, God knows when they are going to call off the strike.
I see. It's actually a good thing, but then it might not be also a good thing, in the sense that some people now resumed this year in BUK, so they are not done with lectures and going on this strike. It's not the right thing, you understand? But if you still go on the strike, I will enjoy. My aunt is having wedding, so I'm just based on that.
Hi, my name is Agru Gifts. I'm a fund-level student of Delta State University, Araka. For the years I've spent in Delsu, this is actually the first time we're going on strike. I must say that strike is something people shouldn't encourage at this time, because the COVID-19 pandemic has caused us all to stay at home for a very long time. They say that whatever has a disadvantage also have an advantage. Well, this gives room for students to have the opportunity to learn skills and work and all. But the longer we stay at home, the longer the year of our graduation lingers. I must encourage the government to do something about the strike as soon as possible. Thank you.
There's no how you'll be feeling happy about the issue of strike, but we don't have option. You just have to accept the fate.
Actually, I'm not happy because I want to finish my studies very soon, and I'm happy at the same time because I will get more time to read for exams.
Well, I intend to spend it at home. Just sit, watch movie, play games. Because even if I want to learn any handwork, there is no handwork available right now. Look at a lot of students going home. A lot of students will want to go through and do 1 or 2 handwork, but where is the handwork? How will you start doing it? Even if you learn the handwork, who will fund you? Who will give you money to start up your own business after learning the training? So I feel there is no reason going home to say I want to start something or the other. Come on, just play game, watch movie, eat food, pray, that's all. When it's time for exam, I come back and write my exams.
Yeah, welcome back again. And of course, when the screen looks this good, you know what time it is. It's Youth Can. And like I promised that I'll be having a special guest with me in the studio to do justice to this topic, I have with me Mr. Shedrack and Zako. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
We are very, very happy to have you on board today on this episode of this program. It's quite timely, talking about the Asuu strike and the impact on the Nigerian youth. So quickly, what is your take on this incessant Asuu strike? How do you think it has really affected the Nigerian youth?
Well, the Asuu strike has been occurring for numerous years now, and it has affected Nigerian students by delaying their academic calendar, their session. Of course, this Asuu strike is one that we know that is coming up at the worst time, when Nigerians just came back from the lockdown that we experienced during the pandemic, and everyone is thinking about how to double the hustle and how to hasten up the academic calendar. But to our greatest surprise, ASUU are coming up with this strike. So it has hit the Nigerian students and it has taken us far back. And if you check, numerous students who have been suffering from financial crisis, they also need to still pay their house rents, because some students just paid their house rent as I speak to you because of schools resumed not too long. They were thinking, okay, all is well, and after paying their house rent, because they are just coming back from lockdown, resuming their sections, now they have to still go back home, and these house rents are burning. Time is going, and you find out that at the level of NYSC and also at the level of job opportunities now, all these work with age. NYSC, you must graduate before 30. So how do you tell someone who comes to school around 6 and is looking, around 26 and is looking for the possibility of graduating before 30 years, and due to this numerous strike now, that person can't serve. So they have delayed that person an opportunity. And you check numerous job opportunity adverts now coming up with age. They tell you you have to be 26, you have to be this with some years experience. It is virtually impossible. And now students are idle at home, they are jobless, and you know, an idle man is the devil workshop. So it has led some students to participating into numerous social vices like the drug abuse, prostitution, and it has caused this drug abuse has numerous side effects. It can also lead to rape, it can lead to them being mentally impaired. So my advice is that this strike has come in a bad time, and I pray it's called off very soon, because it's not really paying the Nigerian students well.
Okay, thank you very much for that. You know, there's this popular saying that when the government and ASUU, you know, when they are fighting and all, it is the students that suffer it. Just like when two elephants fight, the grass, you know, suffers it. But it's so sad that this time around, it happens to be students who are the recipient of the effect of their fighting, and which is not good. Like you said, an idle man is the devil's workshop. That means we can actually, in your own opinion now, it is safe to say that some of the social vices we see today in the society are caused by these idle minds and students being asked to go home.
Sure.
So since this strike is gradually becoming like an annual thing, what do you think an average Nigerian student can do, you know, during this time of the strike, instead of, you know, sitting back, wasting a lot of time to do certain things? What can they actually do to develop themselves?
Yes, like I said earlier, when I was addressing the press at leadership, I advise that students should be versatile. You imagine, because the country now doesn't even guarantee you graduating and getting a job. I can say categorically that about 100% people who graduate, only about 10 to 5% get jobs. So you have to be versatile in what you are doing. You have to be creative. You have to go to the entrepreneurship sector and see how you can build in your handwork. During my time, when I was in the undergraduate level, before I entered the masters, I had to still go back to school during all this Asuu strike wahala. I have to go learn how to drive. I learned how to drive during ASUU strike. From there, I still learned how to bake during ASUU strike. And these are numerous handworks that are also paying off. I still learned photography during the 2018-2019 ASUU strike. So if you learn some of these things, it keeps you busy, it keeps your mind fresh. You don't even know that, okay, there's a strike going on. Because when you are so busy with what you are doing, and if you really love what you do, in fact, you will be so occupied that you will be getting some funds with it, and you could be able to save up. I've been in cases whereby you see students even telling you that they don't want the strike to be called off, that they are so busy trying to get funds, and they don't want the strike to call off. Some students at level of even federal university, Lafayette, they were like, no. When some persons were saying ASUU strike were to be called off next week, they were saying no, we are not saying we want the strike to be called off. Why? Because these are students that are doing their internship at the level of BHAM, so they are enjoying their lab works and they are making some cool cash with it. So that's why they are enjoying themselves. So I would advise students to go and learn numerous numerous skill acquisition, learn how to barb hair, learn how to make hair, because these are things that cannot go down. These are things that Nigerians must always patronize. So if you indulge in some of these activities, I feel is the best, because this Asuu strike, like we can see now, Nigerians, like Nigerian government are not ready to settle with them. The last time we were meeting with the minister walked out on us. So what can you say? All these government officials, their children are graduating abroad. You see them celebrating them, snapping pictures. So, my dear, I don't think they are ready.
Okay, so thank you very much.
If you just check now, about last week, Buhari donated $1 million to refugees outside the country. That's more than half of what Asuu is asking for. Asuu asked for 1 trillion naira. And I think $1 million is about $500 million. So this can be paid by even some of our humanitarian leaders, but I don't know what's happening.
So, okay, thank you for that. Then aside from, these entrepreneurship skills that you have advised that youths should go into, what about all these soft ICT skills, as well as, there are things going on online and some kind of online courses there. Some sites also have these courses for free. So what's your take? Do you think the youth can actually key into this? Even when the school, like when school actually resume, you can still continue, because this is something you can do online.
Yes, I would second to that, because ICT is the fastest growing, should I say, business currently. If you check the top 10 richest people, about 9 are all technocrats, from the likes of the Mark Zuckerberg, and even the fastest growing billionaire now, Evangelist Pidgel, the owner of Snapchat, is also a technocrat. So I believe ICT is the way forward. ICT is the way forward. We have one of our young CEO who is just 26 years. That's the CEO of BTC Bats Group. He's doing well. Why? Because of the ICT level. So if students can venture in, because there are numerous opportunities online, there are numerous skill acquisitions you can venture on. There are online courses that you can even venture. Okay, let me take for example now. I had a friend, Boru Maxine, at the University of Abuja. But during our Asuu strike, this guy came back from camp, NYSC. I was like, how? What happened? He told us that he was undergoing an online course at Delta State University, and he was done. Now, he's already serving. After the strike, he came back, he furthered, and he has 2 degrees now. Wow. So without that online course, you wouldn't be able to get a degree. So you see people getting numerous master's degree. Why? Because of the level of the online technology now. So I endorse them. Even people sell things online. You can be a middleman, advertise cars, you get buyers, you link them up, and that's a cool way to make your cash. So I believe that ICT is the bedrock to success now. And
okay, talking about government, who happen to be like a major actor in all of this, because they are the ones always at the loggerheads with Asuu. So what do you think governments can actually do to curb youth restiveness pending the period where the demands of Asuu will be met by them?
Okay, the first thing, I believe, as a government official, none of them should even take their children abroad. None of them should even take their children to private university, because you are the government. So you should be able to provide services that would be enough to cater for your children. Because if the president, or if these numerous government officials, from the governors down to the ministers, their children are facing this stress today, those kids will tell them at home, Daddy, I want to go back to school. I think you are the one holding me. And it will cause a rancor at home. They won't be able to rest. They won't be able to rest. So with that, the government, they'll be discussing within themselves. I think we need to settle Asuu. That's when they'll begin to prioritize education. Because if you check the budget, education is having just the second lowest after health. Or I think education and health, they're having the lowest of the budget. So they're not being prioritized. So I think with that, the government will begin to prioritize education, and it will make the education sector a better place. Because I believe if my kid, if I'm a government official, let me take for example a president of a country, and my kid is at this school, I want to make sure that the schools get the best. I wouldn't want my child to be at home. That's why we have to keep agitating that all government officials should place their children at the school. If you check, you see even Chris Igoche is at the forefront of this struggle. Why? Because his children are at the school, and I'm sure of one that is at the University of Abuja, a medical student. So they'll begin to take this thing serious. If Adamu's son was there now, he would be so serious with Asuu, not making some promises. And I have to also blame Asuu, because if them too, they are serious with their activities. Because you find out that even at the level of National State University, Kefi, they wanted a 1 month break. Just a 1 month break to rest. So I feel because their salaries are not stopped, they are so happy that yes, okay, we could go on this strike, rest a little bit, do some other side hustles, and anytime the strike is called off, we go back to class. So the students are the ones totally suffering. So that's what I feel.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So in your view, do you think that the educational system in Nigeria should be re-evaluated?
Yes.
Because you talked about this not prioritizing education, and that is why people are comfortable with students going home for quite a long time and not really shaken by it. So do you think the system needs to be evaluated?
Yes, 100%. The education sector needs to be evaluated. If you go to the laboratories, you see poor equipment. If you go to schools, you see lack of street lights, you see lack of... In fact, Nigerian universities, just like you just passing through the system just to get your degree and leave. There's no 100% impact. You walk down yourself to get your knowledge. The equipment, they're so poor. The hostel facilities, they're so bad. So no average Nigerian that has money wants to take his or her students there. Last week I was at Bingham, and if you see the sophisticated research centers that were there, very cool. People who even love to, their whole academic section is just moving on smoothly and swiftly. So I feel that firstly, the laboratories need to be equipped. The staff, there need to be more manpower. Okay, you find out that some lecturers are even working in like 3 universities, 2 polytechnic and 1 college of education, only just 1 person. So they are giving students very little or no. When I was at my 100 level, you see a lecturer coming to class just once, and you tell, you don't go and report me to the vice chancellor. If you report me to the vice chancellor, nothing will happen. And of course, nothing will happen. You end up being the scapegoat. So I think there's a need for a re-evaluation for the system. Let them work on the scheme. Let them work on the credit load. Let them ensure that they equip the ICT libraries. Let them ensure that there is Wi-Fi in schools. I've seen schools that they have this Wi-Fi, but they don't even load it. But they charge at the level of the school fees. They charge, students pay for it, students pay for portal access, but students don't enjoy these services. So I feel that they should go back and ensure that there's a checkmating system. They should be able to checkmate this system to see if these services these students pay for and these captations the government also give the schools, they are effectively utilized.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now bringing it down to the youth out there watching us today and watching this program, and some of them who might have been victims of this Asuu strike. So what is your general advice? What do you have to tell that particular youth out there today?
Well, is it those that have graduated or
those that are affected by this Asuu strike? Yes,
one thing I want to say is that nothing lasts forever. It has affected many persons, and you see them as graduates today. In fact, when I was about going to the school, my dad had already told me that there will be strikes, and you have to be prepared for it because I don't have money to take it to private universities. So what you need to do is to channel your mindset first to know that these are things that will occur, and you have to also be creative and versatile in whatever you do. You have to be innovative. You have to don't just stay at home. You have to learn many skills, and you have to know that this is a culture and a norm that has been regularly occurring at the level of Nigeria now. So you have to be able to live with it, because you have to get the right mindset. If you don't get it, it will be damaging to even your mental health. So you have to be able to accept this fact first, that you are in Nigeria and there must be Asuu strike. So the next thing you need to do now is to be creative with your time. Be creative with your time. When NAS also call for actions against the federal government, you also need to solidarize. Come and out your voice so that at least they will know that you are pained. So that's my advice to the Nigerian students. They should just ensure they make judicious use of their time.
All right, thank you very, very much, Mr. Shedrack, for your contribution in this program today. And now we're going on a short break. Stay tuned, don't go nowhere.
Feel bad because we are close to starting our exams this week, Wednesday. So it's a kind of setback and all of that. So we are pleading with the government to come to our rescue because it causes so much devastation.
I'm a 400 level student of Delta State University. Although through the 4 years in school, this is actually the first time I'm experiencing strike. The effect of strike is at the detriment of the students. The effect of strike make the academic program of the school to long, which thereby make the graduation year or the graduation period of the students to linger. The effect of strike also makes students to engage in malpractice because their reading ability and their reading performance may have been shattered. Although this strike provides ample opportunity for students to focus on their side hustles, but at the long run, the effect of strike is not at the benefit of the students. Thank you.
Though I'm a final year student, like I said, I want to stay in school for a meantime to continue with my project work. But I don't pray for the strike to continue. But if any time the strike persists, I'm a barber, so I'll continue with the barbing work.
Good day. My name is Palma Daniela, and I'm a student of Delta State University. And my own take on this national Asuu strike is the fact that it's affecting a whole lot of things. One of these things is our academic section. Like our Delsu, we have our own academic session which starts from January, but as it stands now, it can no longer function because this Asuu strike has disrupted everything that concerns our activities. Let's not even go to the freshers that just came in. These people, they just came in, they need orientation, they need counseling, but nobody is on ground to give these things to them. For me, I'm a final year. I don't even want to go to my own side because everything concerning my final year stuffs has been dialed down. Okay, I have a project to attend to. Nobody.
You're welcome back again, and we've had a lot of things concerning the incessant Asuu strike and its impact on the Nigerian youth. Skills are valuable. Keep on learning skills as a youth to build yourself, to help yourself in this particular situation. That's why I understand why comedians said, if rain is falling now, thunder no longer strike, because Asuu have striked all there is to strike. But that's just by the way. Thanks for staying tuned to this program. This is why we'll call it a wrap on today's episode of the program Youth Can on Independent Television ITV. I am your host, Joy Igoche. Have a nice day.